Hi YouTube, this is AZY-G for life, here again with another video. So today I'll be talking a bit deeper into my very reluctant wish list for Lee Chaolan as we move into season 2 within the next month and a bit. Now I say reluctant because I'm not really fussy when it comes to Lee Chaolan's changes. I have my own ideas and whatnot, but in the grand scheme of things, the developers have the final say, and whatever they give, I'm happy to work with and figure out how to adopt such changes to the best of my own ability. Alright, left, right, mid kick. Okay, let's start with that. Okay, so 1, 2, 4. I would like to have the delayed version return. It doesn't have to be the partial delay. It can be the limit. It can just be limited to the full delay. That way, there's a window of opportunity for the opponent to interrupt and score a quick counter hit. Or if they fail to intervene in time, we get a counter hit combo starter like that. So in older Tekken games, Lee could delay his 1, 2, 4 either fully or partially. The partial delay was still unsafe at -12 a block or -14 in hitman, and the full delay, if I remember correctly, was safe on block. So I would like them to revert to giving us the ability to charge the kick of 1, 2, 4. That would be nice. All right, acid rain. So Lee Chaolan's acid rain. Now, I thought about this long and hard, and part of me is thinking that it should wall splat again like Tekken 7 Season 1. Also, they should make the full string jail, but remain unsafe on block. So if a Lee player fails acid rain, at least you can have your jab punish ready, whilst also confirming the last kick, so that you could launch them. Or keep it as it is, but make the last kick safe on block, so that the opponent is forced to commit to a duck to avoid the chip damage, and also launch punish from crouch with a while standing move. 2, 1, 1. I'm fine with that. Okay, 2, 1, 3. Now I very rarely use 2, 1, 3. I've been thinking about this for a while on how to ingrain this more into my gameplay. It's pretty nice for a situational wall carry combo filler. I've been thinking about particularly the last kick from it. I guess because I'm just so used to using things like 2, 1, 1 and the occasional 2, 1, 4 back in Tekken 2 and Tekken 6. I didn't really feel the need to use 2, 1, 3. I mean, you know, on counter hit, it gives a nice, juicy combo starter, counter hit combo starter. I guess for the high kick extension, like if they're not gonna duck, just make it either neutral or maybe +1 on block. I don't know. It's just one of those sort of filler moves for me. Like I guess my old Tekken self was just so used to using 2, 1, 2, 1, 1. Okay, let's move on. 2, 1, 4. Yeah, I'm okay with it. The low is -15 just to balance out the potential mini counter hit sequence we get from it, which was buff 2 plus 11 on counter hit. It also beats out high power crushes, which would otherwise interrupt 2, 1, 3 and also 2, 1, 1. So there's that. Okay, 2 to 3. I'm alright with this. I have a feeling they might convert this to a heat engager in season 2, but we'll see. I might be wrong, but we'll see. Okay, 3, 3. Lee Chaolan's 3-3. Now, An idea I had that I was just thinking about was to have a new just frame extension where you get mistrap at the end and it's actually a true one frame link. So what I mean is that the difficulty of this new just frame extension should be the same as his mistrap. So basically just literally tack on mistrap to the end of his 3-3, and you know, therefore you're sort of buffing Lee's 14 frame punishment game a bit. I don't know. You know, currently as of season 1, Lee has a very good variety of 14 frame punishers. His double fang and triple fang, and his double signal as well. It's forward 2-1. Which, funnily enough, does the same damage as his 3-3, but it just knocks down and gives a general wall splat. And the beautiful thing about this move is 3-3 in particular is that its hit confirm window is very, very generous. One of the most generous in the game since the days of Tekken Tag 2. And even on delay, I mean, on its own, it's +7, and the final kick, you know, just leaves you at +1 on hits. But the hit confirm window is beautiful. You know, even on full delay, you're still getting that natural combo. Mistrap, just on the side, mistrap should just do more damage in general. Mistrap, the ender should just do more damage in general. I mean, the final damage should be like an extra 10 points or 15 points. But yeah, we'll see what they do. Okay, his Magic 4 series. Okay, so I've really warmed up to a lot of Lee's Magic 4 adjustments. I mean, thankfully it's still 11 frames, and it's reasonable for what it is. If we start with 4-4 and 4-4, I mean, the extensions, you know, now they're both -13 on block. So opponents who have done their due diligence to recognize and practice against this will punish careless use of this move. It's not easy, particularly with just 4-4 on its own. Especially with the just frame high cardinal extension. It's not easy just to punish 4-4 on its own because of the last kick and, you know, the short block stun window. But it's possible if you're on the ball, but, you know, a lot of the time, you know, opponents, either due to unfamiliarity or, you know, maybe just, you know, the online delay, they may not punish the Magic 4 series in the intended way. 4-3-3, I was thinking about what the developers could potentially change about this move, and maybe they might make the last kick give a bounce on counter hit, you know, something like counter hit back 4, or Dragunov's 1-2-3 on counter hit, or if Dragunov, you know, did his 1-2-3 behind an opponent, he would get a bounce counter hit combo starter. And it does sound silly, and I don't really want this. I don't really want that to be a thing. I think it's too much, you know, doing 4-3-3, getting a bounce, you know, on their back. Something like the old downward 3-2-3. Yeah, I think it might be a bit too much. I think the general knockdown would be fine. With that being said, you know, the move is very punishable, and, you know, his 4-3 no longer jails. So once more players, you know, start to recognize and practice against, you know, this portion of Lee's Magic 4 series, as Lee players will have to learn to be a bit more cautious with just throwing it out on the whim. You know, stuff like, you know, down forward 1 block into, you know, the, you know, 4-4-4-3-4, things like that. And, you know, I'll be very honest, many people are letting us get away with our Magic 4 series for free, but then again, it's due to a few factors I mentioned before: unfamiliarity of just seeing the move in general, you know, online, you know, being a factor as well for those who play more of the game online than offline. I have seen some people try to duck and also punish it, but you know, the minor lag can hinder their punishment window. And I suppose just the mental stack of deciding what Lee will end up finishing with. Will he delay the last kick, for example? You know, will he just go straight for it? Will he stop halfway? You know, is this all, you know, it's all part of the mind games, and I feel that it's worth practicing defending and punishing, doing your best to punish his Magic 4 series every now and again, just to be familiar. I think I've spoken too much on this, so let's move on. Machine gun kicks, yeah, I've touched on that. I've touched on this. Okay. 4 or plus 3. I mean, I'm okay with this. I kind of hate the fact that they tacked on misstep to this since one of the prior Tekken 7 seasons, but it is what it is. It's always been useful for sideways combos, especially when I combo during a, you know, sidestep hitman stance. Stop the combo there, but yeah, I mean, it's there. It is what it is. I've learned to work with it. It's not really my favorite change for Lee Chaolan because I'd much prefer to, you know, just dash and get what I need to get, you know, something like that, rather than doing the tacked on misstep follow up. But that's just me. Okay, 1 plus 2. Lee Chaolan's pirouette punch. I'm good with this move. Slightly annoyed with the misinformation that's been passively spread. This move, you know, as of season 1 anyway, it's -1 on block. -1 on block. It is only +2 on block when Lee goes into hitman stance. In addition, his fastest move there is 12 frames, his Freaka jab. So if you do the simple maths, you'll know that he will score a trade from a 10 frame jab. So yeah, there's that. So you could say in some ways he's sort of neutral on block, based on the response time from his fastest move. But you know, again, 1 plus 2, it's not, you know, something overwhelming like, you know, +5 on block or anything. No. They remember, minus if he doesn't go into stance, and +2 if he goes into stance. You know, minor plus frames, minor negative frames, you know, it's there. All right, forward 2-1. I mean, I'm all right with this. Nothing sticks out to me as to what I want changed. Maybe they'll add a novelty just frame input to this move, you know, for an extra 2 or 3 points of damage, thereabouts. Yeah. Okay, Acid Storm. I think it was either Akira or Super Akuma that stated the first kick of this move should be safe, and I agree. Have it at -8 or -9, something along those lines. Other than that, I'm good with this move. Maybe a slight damage increase on the just frame for render by like 3 or 4 points or so, because I mean, a 1 point increase, I mean, it doesn't really feel like you're gaining much from doing the just frame version of this move. There we go. All right. All right, forward 4-1. I'm all right with this. I'm all right with this. Same with this forward 4-3. I'm okay with this. Aggressive 1-2 leaves forward 1 plus 2. I'm all right with this move. Could it be a candidate for a new heat engager? Personally, I don't think so, seeing as his down 4-4 is already a heat engager at 13 frames, so it would be pointless to have this as a heat engager. So Yeah, let's move on. Forward 3+4. This is honestly one of my favorite Lee Chaolan moves across the years since the days of Tekken 6. Now in this game, it deals decent chip damage. The chip damage is decent, but of course, with the Tekken talk we've had, there's going to be a reduction in chip damage, which of course universally is a nice healthy change. I can see them slightly decreasing the chip damage value from 9 in total to something like 6 maybe. Its Oki has been slightly nerfed after his up forward 1+2 throw, so you know it pushes them farther away. It's more of like a softer Okizemi rather than a hard open spike. In previous games, I mean, it had the floor break property, the hard floor break property, although now it will still floor break, but only from midair. So it's literally has the same coded floor break from a down back 3. So if you were to you know, do a combo midair combo, something like down back 3 would actually break the floor, and forward 3+4 follows that same principle. If you hit someone from the air with this move, you can try it in the lab and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, down forward 2. Now, honestly, the high evasion from this and in general all safe down forward 2 should go. It should be eliminated. I haven't really vibed much with using this move until much later in the season. I'm not really a down forward 2 sort of person, to be honest. I guess I'm not really too fussed if it remains how it is, but for other characters like Paul, you know, with their phantom, you know, hitbox on the down forward 2, I mean, Lee's range, you know, it's literally, I think it should be the gold standard on the range of every single down forward 2. You know, it shouldn't really hit from here unless you're Jack and it's like -14 on block. But, you know, for characters like Paul, you know, the phantom hitbox range should go alongside the high evasion. It should be eliminated. Yeah, I can see a potential damage reduction from, you know, 12 damage to 10. But yeah, otherwise, you know, we can only hope for the best. Down forward 3-2-3. Okay. Now, many people have asked for the last kick to launch in back turn, and honestly, the amount of times I have muscle memoried a deep sidewalk into this, I would have honestly won games much more quickly if if they had retained the old launch from down forward 3-2-3. I mean, we'd probably be doing like something like 70 or 80% damage on a good, you know, optimal combo with a wall. I feel with the way down forward 3-2-3 is, it's for the better. I actually think they should get rid of someone like Law's Junkyard back turn launch, and I guess any other character that has such strings, you know, like maybe Dragunov 1-3-2, you know, which it shouldn't launch from back turned, in my opinion. For me, I feel the developers may have done this for Lee to ensure that we find other alternate ways to engage with successful sidewalk situations instead of consciously fishing out for down forward 3-2-3 to death. You know, I've been using things like, you know, 1-2-2-3. Occasionally there are certain angles the last kick would whiff, but I've been using, you know, 4-3-3 into up back 3 or 4-3-3 into a very well timed blazing kick, and you know, you get like 64 plus damage minimum, which is more than what we get with the current down forward 3-2-3, which is 48 on counter hits. So yeah, I don't really see anyone fishing for counter hits down forward 3-2-3 personally. I mean, the range of this is like really, you know, it's really not that great, and you know, I don't know. I do, however, see the developers, which they have been fond of doing in past Tekken series, is adding an alternative extension. So for Lee, I think they might add a mid extension after it's down forward 3, which might act as a decent combo filler, or maybe a mid check against opponents who know to duck the second part of the string, which is a high. Potentially a delayable follow-up too with the new mid extension. I don't know, but I would rather have the last kick be a bit tad safe from block. I mean, in the latter seasons of Tekken 7, it was -14 on block. But now they've reverted it to being launch punishable on block. So really, it's not really a popular move outside of just being a combo filler for wall carry. I guess they might add a just frame property exclusively that will make the last kick safe on block. So if you time the last kick, it could be safe on block. It may have, some, cool pushback or something with some blue spots and whatever. But yeah, maybe make it like a true 1 frame, just frame, or maybe 2 frames to be lenient, and maybe add a chip damage function. I don't know. We'll see what they do with that. Down 2 is also another favorite move of mine. I can see a potential damage reduction from 17 to maybe 15 or 14 in favor of having a couple of true high crush frames, not evasion. Currently this move does high evade, but it does not high crush. Well, it actually has it actually has a 1 or 2 high crush frames, but I would like it to have more frames of high crush. But I will touch on forward 4 later. Down 3. Honestly, I'm grateful that the developers have fixed the interaction on its hitbox versus Devil Jin's heat burst by expanding the upper hitbox of down 3. Other than that, nothing really stands out to me on what I want changed about this move. For the area of tracking, honestly, I don't care. Down 3, being -1 on hit now, instead of -3 like previous Tekken games, and the ability to double back crouch cancel to a combo pickup is a good blessing. On top of being in crouch status, which can help avoid highs, from certain matchups like Mishima Electrics, which can hit you if you were to carelessly transition into Hitman. As you can see, Lee remains in standing state, so there's that. So yeah, I mean, honestly, being able to pick up from this state, honestly, it's a blessing. Down 4, laser edge kick combo. Honestly, I'm alright with this move. It's a bit of a mini mind game since you can delay the follow-up lows and the ender as well. But ideally, if you're defending against Lee, you should just be ready to low parry at least the 3rd kick anyway. So yeah, nothing really to say much about this move. Down back 3. Down back 3 is another favorite low of mine. Previously in Tekken 7 it was, and past Tekkens, it was +2 on hit, and in the past seasons and past games, it had more pushback on hits, so you couldn't really maintain your poking distance after a hit. But now they lowered the distance after you hit down back 3. But now it's -1 on hits. I don't really want them to change it personally. I'm quite used to working in negative frames with Lee mentally. But I suppose a little more range on it would be okay. Maybe the same range as Lily's down 3. But honestly, if they don't change anything about it, I'm more than happy. It's our only low that's -12 on block. So, I mean, in certain matchups, it's a very useful low to have. Particularly, particularly sorry against Kazuya. He has a 13 frame while standing launch, so having down back 3, you know, is definitely useful if it remains minus 12. I can potentially see them increasing the damage from 12 to maybe 14. But other than that, I don't expect this move to change in the next season. Down by 3 plus 4, I'm alright with the slow. Nothing sticks out to me as far as potential changes, so I think we can move on. Triple Fang. I guess I'll bunch this with his double Fang as well. They should really make the high ender plus unblock. They should make the high extension from the just frame plus unblock. In addition, there should actually be a non-just frame version of his double fang. I don't know why they haven't added it in. Maybe this particular move was an afterthought, but there should be a non-just frame version that doesn't knock down. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm pretty much okay with the triple fang and the double fang cardinal. Yes. Okay, Lee's back to 4. I don't think I've spent too much adequate time in the past year experimenting with this move too much. I've labbed it here and there, but it's more of like my underused moves. I need a bit more time to mix it into my gameplay. I will say though that the distance that you are left with in back to 4, you don't really get much from it. I mean, at best, opponents can backdash most of Lee's hitman options. I think only hitman 1+2 at best will reach most of the time, but the beautiful buff of this move is that it does jail and block, but I feel that they should reduce the distance on back to 4, but I feel it might be an indirect nerf since you might not get the wall splats from certain distances as you might expect. So it is what it is. I mean, you know, back to 4, I need to experiment more with this move if it remains unchanged as we move on to season 2. Back 3-3. Back 3-3, this move was an answer to one of my constant prayers in Tekken 7. At the time, it was a natural combo and it was mainly used as a combo filler. I mean, when I saw it in Lee Chaolan's Tekken 7 trailer, you know, I was like, okay, this makes sense, seeing as we don't have the bounce system anymore, because back in the day, you had the old pickup with the forward force rebounds, but with Tekken 7's what's it called, tail spin mechanic, you know, they had to change the combo formula, so they, you know, added this new move tacked on. It was a natural combo, but now this low has been harassing the minds of our opponents, much to our own benefit, and I guess to our own detriment if one is too predictable with it. I'll say straight up that I'm not fussed if they nerf the frames from +4 to 0 on hit if we transition to misstep. I think that would be a nice healthy change. I understand that giving Lee +4 from there is to promote the essence of engaging in an offensive game like Tekken 8 and keeping some form of aggression with the opponent from a mind game aspect. So something they may do potentially to is to nerf the frames of the first slow to maybe from -3 to maybe -8 on hit. But, you know, with Lee being more of a counter-hit oriented setup character to some degree, poking and counter-hitting, I think, you know, -3, I think it's fine. Maybe -4 on hit or -5 on just the back 3 alone might be better. But definitely back 3-3. If it's not going to get a damage reduction from, say, something like 21 in total to like maybe 16 or 15, I reckon the frames on the misstep transition will get adjusted. But yeah, it's all up in the air. But I'd be very surprised if they do not change this move in some ways. But if they keep this at a +4, I imagine they should give Lee a new move from misstep, which should cover maybe the weaker side that, you know, things like down forward 4 may not hit in certain matchups. A homing move from misstep? I don't know. Homing power crush move from misstep? I'm not sure. Who knows? Alright, back 4, the classic silver heel. I can definitely see them reducing the frames on block from something like -3 from the first active frame to, you know, -5 on block. I also feel that there is room to increase the whiff recovery on just back 4 alone. Maybe by like an additional 5 frames. But yeah, you know, people have complained about this move. For me, I don't really care about their complaints as much. I'm not really fussed. I mean, it is what it is. Whatever the developers decide, you know, that is there on the table for us to eat or not eat. This, based on what the developers have stated in their Tekken talk, you know, this won't be a heat engager anymore, I expect. So, I mean, I seldomly use this move, and it's, you know, in previous versions, its tracking was reduced immensely. So, I mean, what I usually tell people is that, you know, if they are really crying about the, you know, high power crushes, or at the time the high power crush heat engages, I usually tell them, you know, try and, you know, do a bit more jab checking into ducking. You know, try and, you know, hold the brakes a bit on your offensive game. You know, mix up your heavy power moves in favor of, you know, just small pokes, just to check, you know, their high power crushes, and, you know, just, you know, duck and get your while standing launch. On back 3, I'm alright with this move. I would like it if they reverted it to its Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2 status, where it had slight pushback on block and it was -12. You also got a guaranteed follow-up on counter hits, because it gave like a sort of forced stun, not with this animation, but it was more of like a fallback stun, like let me think, like Zafina's 1-4 on hit. It gave that sort of stun on counter hits, where something like forward 4-3 was guaranteed in the open. But it is what it is. I mean, I'm content with how the move is, you know, as a counter hit tornado, auto tornado move, so it's alright. Up +3 fake. I want this move to have some utility, so maybe low crushing from maybe the second frame would be nice, or maybe have an exclusive set of moves that can be inputted during the fake. You know, Martial Law has an extension from his fake flip, so, you know, why can't Lee have one? Maybe it could be something, you know, with heat, or maybe it could be, you know, I don't know. But yeah, this fake should have a bit more utility. Up forward 3-1. I'm mostly alright with this move. Maybe have the follow-up slightly delayable, but more importantly, I would like it to low crush a bit faster. Maybe from the 5th or 4th frame, Hop kicks, hop knees generally low crush from the 9th frame. So I would like it to low crush in general, much more earlier. Now, knowing the developers, I could see them giving them a Hitman follow-up just after up 3 on its own. But otherwise, that's literally all I can think of. Maybe have the follow-up maybe deal chip damage on block, or I don't know, just maybe actually I could see them making this a strong aerial tailspin. I don't know, or just maybe giving it making it tornado. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what they adjust with this. Yeah, same with up forward 3-1. Maybe have the follow up a bit more delayable. That would be nice. Not hit confirmable though, but just delayable, just to add a extra mind game layer. But yeah, 4-4-3 pulse blast. I'm okay with this. I'm alright with this. Oh, they should reduce, in general, they should reduce the tracking of moves in heats, during heats. Having them virtually homing is very, very silly. So just keep them linear, and yeah, just reduce the tracking of such moves. Forward 4. Lee Chaolan's forward 4. They should revert this move to how it was back in Tekken 6. Reduce the high evasion, or just, yeah, reduce the high evasion and only get a combo when it's a counter hit. I'd be fine with that. I feel the best possible action would be to revert this to its Tekken 6 status, where it had less high evasion frames. It's still high crushes, but it should just have less, or just eliminate the high evasion frames. And it should strictly be a counter hit only combo starter. I would be cool with that. That would just be a nice healthy change. Okay, Blazing Kick. Blazing Kick should have its old pushback like Tekken 6 and Tekken Tag 2. Potentially, maybe as if performed as a successful just frame, maybe. Where it has massive pushback instead and does a little extra damage. Other than that, this move is another favorite of mine. I've been working here and there to find ways to space that tip range to make it minus 16 or blocked at even minus 15 on block. Although it's easier said than done. But yeah, I just want to use this move a bit more often, hopefully. Back 4, there should be a just frame version that comes out 2 frames faster, just like 4-4-2. So back 4 should have like a just frame version where it just comes out like a couple frames faster. That would be nice, and also a bit more damage as well. I think it could do with actually the range is alright. I think it could do with I think the range is okay. I was gonna say that it should have a little bit more range, but I think yeah, I think the range is honestly balanced well, so it's cool. While running 3-4, waxing crescent, nothing really strikes much about this move to me. I think it's okay. Maybe a just frame variant would be nice. Maybe if it was performed at its fastest, I don't know. But yeah, a just frame version would be nice with like maybe more plus frames on block, maybe from +3 to +4 or 5, and maybe in Hitman you'd be +7 or 8 instead. But yeah, we'll see what they do. While standing 1-2. Now I'm alright with this move. While standing 1 to Hitman stance is a nice mini mind game on block at -2. But that's about it. Having the 2 follow-up, which is Semi-delayable as well will also enable a counter hit combo sequence, you know, granting plus 11, I believe. Yeah, plus 11 if one transitions into misstep. I actually thought it was plus 12 in previous versions, but yeah, it's I like it. I like it. It's okay. It's okay. While standing 4, however, something needs to be done about this, particularly the situation on hit. To me, there's little benefit in transitioning to Hitman stance when you're only left at plus 1. I'd rather they kept it being plus 4 when you go into Hitman, or even, you know, make it plus 6 if you go into Hitman. Or, you know, I think the only benefit of Hitman now in this game is if you're sort of ending a short combo with while standing 1-4 and you want to use the spike ender at the wall. But yeah, I don't really vibe much with while standing 1-4 other than being, you know, a strong 13 frame damage alternative to as while standing 1-2. Maybe a just frame version where it knocks down, and maybe gives a wall splat. Maybe would be nice. You know, I think Lee should have the largest amount of just frames in the game. More damage, an extra, you know, rewarding property on hit. Maybe should even have a hard knockdown where, you know, stuff like maybe down 3 or up at 3 was guaranteed. Yeah, while standing 1-4 just frame into guaranteed down 3. That would be nice. And the just frame should be a 1-frame link. It shouldn't be an easy just frame like back 1 is 555 or 444. It should be a proper traditional 1-frame just frame to reward those who put into the time to practice their just frames. But yeah, while standing 2-3, I can see a potential damage reduction from 36 to maybe 32 points of damage. Or even 30 in total for that matter, but otherwise I don't really see this changing much. Lee's while standing 2-4. An interesting change that I observed from this, from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8, is that you can actually delay the 4 for quite a bit of time, but you lose the natural combo window if you commit to the delay, even on a counter hit, I believe. Yeah, so one change I would like for while standing 2-4 is for it to be still natural combo, but just on a semi-delay, not a full delay. So it's something, it should be natural combo if you sort of confirm. Not a full delay like this. Yeah, it would be silly, but sort of like a little mini delay. Lee should retain the natural combo status from while standing 2-4. And just to wrap the two extensions up from while standing 2, I would like a strict just frame input which rewards more damage. If while standing 2-3 gets a damage reduction, I think just frame while standing 2-3 should retain its original 36 damage, and maybe while standing 2-4 can do an extra 2 points of damage, maybe, if done as a strict just frame. And of course it should be a 1 or 2 frame just frame window, not something generous like 4-4-4. Alright, infinite kicks. Now personally for me, with the infinite kick changes, I only commit to the first kicks generally, or just one extension. I never do the remaining, the following 2 kicks, because there's really no mix up on block. You know, the mid follow up is the mid follow up after the infinite low is gone. It's literally just mid high or low high. But other people have been saying that they should make infinite kicks a bit more sticky, so that certain matchups like Lily and Claudio, if you're going for the fourth kick, it should hit them. Which for me, I'm not fussed if they do, but honestly, I've let go of it, and I just personally just go for while standing 3-3 into Hitman, or while standing 3-3 just into one extension only. Silvertail. Now, Silvertail, I would like them to revert it to its Tekken 5 DR status, where you could actually do instant Silvertail from standing. I believe a character like Yoshimitsu still has a variation where he's able to do instant full crouch down forward 4 without relying on just having to remain in full crouch. So you can just literally do it from standing. There's also a shorter window of frames required to be in full crouch before you can do a move. So I sort of use that to do a pseudo instant Silvertail like that. In previous Tekken games, you literally had to hold it and, you know, go into Silvertail. But now in Tekken 8, you can sort of do a pseudo Silvertail. Yeah, I would like to do it instantly, like Tekken 5 DR. This flip kick, the only change I want is that if we hold down after the flip kick, we should recover in full crouch status instantly. There's a few frames where if you look at the attack property status at the bottom corner, there's a few frames where Lee recovers standing before he goes into his crouch animation, which is why punishes like Jet Upper and Electric are possible. In fact, let me just demonstrate that with Brian. Let's select Brian for this demonstration. See that? Let me just show the let's show the display settings for the opponent attack info and opponent frame info. See that? So I would like it where for as a change for Lee, if you flip kick and you should instantly recover in crouch status. There should be no frames of standing status at all. Aha, friction spear. Lee slide. Honestly, I'm content with this move. Some people don't like the Tekken 8 change just because it doesn't knock down anymore, which of course I understand. Sorry, let me set you to standing line. Yeah, I understand. But I appreciate the fact that developers are differentiating aspects of Lee compared to his old school counterpart, martial law from the days of Tekken 1. I would say, as far as changes go, yeah, it's likely they'll change the frames on block from -15 to -14. But I also feel they'll reduce the active frame so that at tip range it's -11 instead of something like -9. So maybe they will have 4 active frames instead of 7 active frames. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, yeah, I like Lee's slide. I like his new slide animation. I know some people have said that they want the Just Frame version to knock down in heat only, which I wouldn't mind. But for me personally, again, I really do not care what they do with this slide. Misstep 3+4. Okay, I have a lot of beef with this move. I've never really expressed it much, but since Tekken 7, I don't really get the change because the first kick no longer launches on hit like Tekken Tag 2 and Tekken 6, but it's still minus 12 on block. Whilst the second kick, I mean, it launches, but it's minus 13, and because both kicks jail, the opponents can get their block punish ready. So I guess this is more serving as a potential whiff punish from well, ranges, and kind of sucks, but it sort of serves as a close range whiff punish if you're sort of missed moving from certain close distances. So yeah, there's that. But I kind of want them to I don't know, maybe change it to just Cossack kicks. Maybe not Cossacks, because then we already have our Acid Storm with punish, but I guess, I don't know, maybe just make the first kick safer, or I really don't know, or just make the follow-up kick delayable, I guess. I don't know. We'll see what they have to do. Forward neutral 3+4. Okay, so his miss is a friction spear for misstep. I really would like it. It would click with me more if it was slightly faster in animation, but for what it is, I really don't mind it. I mean, it's just one of those moves where, you know, your opponents really have to be sleeping if they get hit by this. But it's kind of nice in matchups like Yoshimitsu. I think Super Akuma mentioned this in the Lee podcast. That if Yoshimitsu does this poison breath from a distance, you can literally, you know, misstep and yeah, do your empty misstep and, you know, just confirm and get the slide to close the gap and also hit him, which is nice and useful. Misstep sway, the axe sweep, minus 13. I don't mind how it is at the moment. Not much to say about this for now. I'm good with this. Okay, Lee's moves from Hitman stance. I would like the last hit of the Freaku jabs to transition maybe to be cancelable rather to misstep. Just like in the previous Tekken game. So instead of it being cancelable to misstep from the second part, it should also cancel to misstep from the last hit should be cancelable, sorry, to misstep. Otherwise, overall, this is another new favorite change of mine. Very well animated. It reminds me of Jackie Bryant's move from Virtua Fighter 5. I was it his 3P plus K PPP? I don't know. I forgot the notation of the move, but it's the one where it goes do yeah. Sorry, my voice. But yeah, I like it. I like it. It gives me the Jackie Bryant vibes a lot. So yeah, a very well animated move. I can also see this having a just frame version, maybe a lenient 2 or 3 frame window. I think one thing to balance this out maybe is just to have this linear so that none of the hits track the opponents at all. Just save that for something like Hitman 1-4. Now, Hitman Stance 2, I would like it to have some high crush frames. The majority of this animation is just high evasion. So just to demonstrate, moves that are high but have a very, very low hitbox will beat out Hitman 2. So let's turn on Jet Upper here. And yeah, see that? No high crush. If Lee's Hitman 2 had high crush frames, like legit high crush frames, then it would beat out Jet Upper, like so. But yeah, it would be nice to have. Whether they do it or not, it's down to them, but yeah, that would be a nice change I would like. Hitman Stance 1-4, I'm alright with this move. maybe a just frame version where it knocks down on hits. We'll see, but I'm alright with this move. Hitman 3, if it can be made a few frames faster, maybe at 17 or 16 frames, that would be awesome, but now at the moment it's not a huge worry for me. Hitman Stance, I'm good with Hitman Stance 4. Yeah, sorry, just to touch on High Crush. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So, Hitman Stance up 4. I think, seeing as this is one of the slower moves out of Hitman Stance, I think it should just be plus and block. If nothing else changes about it, it's slow, it low crushes very, very late. I can't really remember when I used this in the past games in the neutral. Maybe as far back as Tekken 6 or Tekken Tag 2, I don't know, but yeah. I think it should just be plus and block, or at best, neutral. Now, a set of command grabs from Hitman Stance would be a nice addition, so characters like Dragunov have command throws via forward 1+4 and forwards 2+3, where you have to strictly break them with 1 or 2 and not the other, compared to generic grabs. So having a command 2 or 3 different command grabs from Hitman Stance would be nice, or maybe even a command grab from Misstep would be nice. Maybe faster sidestepping from Hitman would be nice, but otherwise we'll see what they'll do with punch parry. Lee Chaolan's punch parry. Let's go to that now. Yeah, I would like them to revert it to a 2-frame startup rather than 5 frames. Either that or make buff so that if you time the kick at a certain point, maybe when Lee touches the ground, you get a just frame version and the kick is guaranteed against every single matchup with a stylish camera angle animation that no one can escape. So if characters like Ling won't be able to parry, Yoshimitsu won't be able to spin away, Raven won't be able to parry, you know, the just frame follow-up kick should be guaranteed always. Yeah. All right, I think I've done a lot of talking on this, and I haven't really covered Lee's general heat system. So before I touch on that, some potential new moves for Lee Chaolan that I think they might add. Sorry, let me just get rid of this move list. Yeah. I would like them to bring back his sway low from Tekken 4. Maybe it can be a low from sidestep, or maybe it could be reanimated to be a sway low from sway 3 instead of sway 4. So literally just the opposite leg. Sway 4 would be nice, and maybe on counter hit it would give a knockdown. Like counter hit, maybe down back 3. Let me just set you to standing blockboard. So maybe his if his sway 4, if his sway low from Tekken 4 comes back, it should either knock down on counter hit like this, or give a guaranteed follow-up, like maybe plus 13 into a heat engager. I would like his sidestep 2 to return, maybe with a built-in his Tekken 4 sidestep 2 to come back, maybe with a built-in punch Sabaki. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that'll be too much, but yeah. Some new moves from Hitman Stance or Misstep would be nice, but I think the developers said that all characters will be getting at least 1 or 2 new moves. So I'm not going to expect them to give likely like 10 completely new moves. That would be realistic. Lee Chaolan's heat system. I'm pretty easygoing as far as Lee's heat system is concerned. If I had one wish for Lee, Lee in heat, it would be that Lee's heat just frames only should be gold, like Heihachi. So if you perform his just frames at its true exact timing, which will be exclusive only in heat, it should be gold. And not only that, but you should also get a small extra damage bonus if you do the golden just frames in heat mode. In addition, his frame data on block should be more beneficial when he's in heat and you do the successful just frames, not the fake just frames, but the proper timed just frames. Yeah. So if you do his true slide, yeah, it should replenish a little bit more heat, but it should also have a more favorable frame data. So maybe it could be like -13 or -12 from closer distances, and it should also do more damage. Maybe knocking down, I mean, the golden slide, maybe it should knock down potentially, but yeah. What else? I'd also would like to make things a little bit more complex, in that Lee should have an additional heat system where if you perform up to a certain amount of just frames, you should have access to an exclusive set of moves that you can only use once per match, not per round. So think of it like Leroy's cane. Lee should have like a really strong exclusive move where if you perform a number of just frames, he should get like a stack. So let's say, for example, the more stacks you save at certain thresholds, the stronger that move will be. And not only that, different just frames should grant a different amount of stacks. So let me explain. So for example, Lee will have a stack bonus at 10, 20, and 30, with 10 being the minimum you can reach to use the exclusive move, and 30 being the max. So if you use the exclusive move at any point, that's it. You can no longer gain stacks until the next entire match begins. So something like Acid Rain will contribute 3 stacks. A move like Mist Trap will contribute something like 5 or even 7 stacks, because it's the most difficult just frame to do. Just frame Taunt will, because it's so slow, it should contribute something like I don't know, 10 stacks. Something like that. 444 and all the other generous timing just frames should just generate 1 stack. So the harder the just frame, the more stacks it will generate. And all I've said above will be applicable on hit and on block. So that way, anyone that wants to recklessly gain stacks will be punished by smarter players. So if you're just trying to gain stacks and you do Acid Rain, for example, on block, you'll get your stacks, but you will also get punished. So it's all about how you smartly incorporate Lee's just frames, you know, either by using them as block punishers or with punishers or during combos. That will also determine how quickly you gain your just frame stacks. But yeah, that's just my little idea on how to make Lee's heat system a bit more interesting and beneficial for veterans without being too overbearing. As to what the exclusive strong move will be, honestly, I have no idea, but it should be something to be feared if Lee has maximum stacks at 30. Something super broken and overpowered and a one-time use. Alright, that's it for the video. It's a bit more on the lengthy side, but I wanted to get it out of the way and also see how many of my wishes or predictions, might come true as we go into season 2. End of the day, I don't expect the developers to cover any of these. I'd rather they'd rework the baby oppressive stuff for characters like King, Feng, Nina, Jin, Clive, etc. so that more character specialists can actually prosper with them, and those who rely on just a small handful of moves will actually have to think outside of the box to be more consistent at winning. So if you like this video or have any comments, corrections or questions, please feel free to comment below freely on the channel, and be sure to give the video a like. And subscribing is also another way you can stay connected and keep in touch with future videos and updates on this channel, and it's also a way you can support for free. Until then, be good, enjoy the game, and just enjoy life in general. Stay blessed as well, and see you in the next video.